Hi, I'm Dan Brockett. I'm the co-founder of Foggy Blossom Farm, and I'm in my studio in Leechburg, Pennsylvania, giving you a behind-the-scenes tour for the American Craft Made Online Artist Directory in my studio series. I got started with basketry when I turned 40 and was desperately seeking a craft to do in the winters here in Pennsylvania. I saw a video online of a basket maker and became fascinated with the idea of being able to do that. We already grew some willow on the property, and I thought I could expand the population and choose specific varieties to grow for weaving baskets in the future. My favorite part about being a maker is sitting down at the weaving table here and just taking a bundle of sticks at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day having a finished basket. Just the idea of taking something that is so simple and creating this complex form that is functional and useful to somebody. The process of making a willow basket for myself first starts with the acquiring of cuttings, which are just small sticks of named varieties. Then in the spring we take those cuttings and we plant them in the ground, and we wait a full year. Usually here in PA in December, we harvest everything that grows in that first year. And then every successive year we do the same thing, which is called coppicing. We cut it to the ground, and then every year this part of the plant that's called a stool gets a little bit bigger, and there's more rods and better rods grow every single year. So in spring we plant, in the summer we watch, in the fall, early winter, we harvest, and then throughout the winter and into the spring, it dries, and then spring, summer, we start to weave. The importance to me to not only be the basket weaver, but the willow grower is kind of twofold. The first is that it's expensive to buy the material from other growers. And when I started this whole thing, from what I could find, there was only one person in the US that was growing and selling at scale. The other part is that I want to know exactly what happened to every single rod from when it was planted, how it was harvested, how it was processed. I want to have a hand in all of that. I not only want to have a relationship and build an understanding of these individual varieties from a weaving standpoint, but also from a growing standpoint. I want that first-hand knowledge. I want to know everything about the process. I learned to weave starting with material that wasn't ideal, and it was extremely challenging to do that, but it hooked me right away. And ever since, I've just been following this fascination. The challenges of my current studio space are, I don't know if you can tell from the video, but it's pretty tiny. This was just an overhang on the shed that I enclosed a couple of years ago, so I had a closed-in space that was specifically for making baskets. It's way better than when I started, which was just on the kitchen floor. You know, thinking back to that, I just think, oh my gosh, how did I actually continue to do this when it was so challenging to do that in a space that obviously wasn't made for it. I recently wove a casket, and again, we had to do it inside the house, which was not ideal because it took over a week to make it. So we had this giant monstrosity inside of our living area, and that was challenging. So I'd really love to have a space to really branch out and do larger items. Here's one of my most recent pieces. I'm showing this piece because it is really the culmination of 5 years of work to get to the point where I could make a basket like this. I'm just really, really proud of the way that it came out. It opened my eyes to how much work I actually put into this and how familiar with the material I had actually become, and the process to be able to sit down and in my head think this up. Here it is, and it looks exactly the way that I wanted it to. I've always had a fascination with artists. When I was young, I didn't have any sort of artistic dreams or artistic abilities that I could see. But when I was in school, a fellow classmate drew this picture, and it just blew my mind. Maybe that was the first time I connected art and actual people. I was pretty young, but it just blew me away. And the fact that I'm in my 40s now and I can still see myself standing next to this student's desk and seeing his drawing and just remembering that feeling. And I said to myself, I want to be that someday. The interesting thing about willow and basketry is it kind of fell into my lap. I wasn't like, I'm going to do that because it looks neat and I know about it. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I've stuck with it, is because it did just kind of come to me organically. Thank you for taking the time to meet me and learn about my work. You can find us at foggyblossomfarm.com or on Instagram at Foggy Blossom Farm.